Asia has quietly become the global capital of digital nomads. Fast internet, low cost of living, incredible food, cities that never sleep. Asia is becoming the digital nomad capital of the world. But here's the reality many remote workers discover too late. Tourist visas don't last forever. Visa runs are getting harder. Immigration rules are tightening, and many countries are cracking down on long-term stays. Tourist visas don't last forever. So governments across Asia started launching something new: digital nomad visas, special permits designed for remote workers, freelancers, and online entrepreneurs. But here's the catch: not all of these visas are created equal. Some require six-figure salaries, others demand complicated paperwork, and a few are surprisingly simple. Digital nomad visas, a new way to live and work in Asia. Today we're ranking Asia's digital nomad visas from hardest to easiest. We looked at the income requirements, visa length, paperwork, and real-world accessibility, and the difference between number 10 and number 1 is huge. One country asks for $90,000 a year. Another only asks that you have around $14,000 in savings. So if you're a remote worker thinking about moving to Asia, this list might completely change your plans. Let's start with the most difficult option on our list: Asia's digital nomad visas, ranked from hardest to easiest. Number 10, Japan's 6-month visa. So Japan finally introduced a digital nomad visa. At first, the news sounded, well, pretty exciting. I mean, Tokyo skyscrapers, Kyoto temples, bullet trains, and world-class technology. For a lot of remote workers, Japan is like the dream destination. But when the details of the visa were revealed, yeah, people were surprised. To qualify, you gotta earn over 10 million yen per year. That's roughly $90,000 annually. Immediately, that removes a huge percentage of freelancers and early-stage entrepreneurs. And it doesn't stop there. The visa lasts only 6 months. And here's the twist: it cannot be extended. If you want to apply again, you have to leave Japan for 6 whole months before reapplying. That makes long-term planning, honestly, extremely difficult. On top of that, the application requires a certificate of eligibility, proof of your income, and comprehensive Japan-approved health insurance. Japan is, without a doubt, one of the most fascinating countries in the world. But when it comes to digital nomad visas, it's surprisingly restrictive. Which is why it lands at number 10 on our list. And the next country? Well, it isn't much easier. Number 9, South Korea's Workcation visa. South Korea's digital nomad visa is called the Workcation visa, and on paper, it really sounds fantastic. You can live in Seoul, work from modern cafes, and enjoy one of the fastest internet infrastructures on the planet. The visa lasts 1 year, and you can extend it for another year. That means up to 2 years total. But there's a catch. Actually, several. To qualify, you have to prove you earn roughly double Korea's per capita income. In 2024, that translated to around $64,000 per year. So again, the barrier is fairly high. Applicants also need to show proof of employment or freelance work outside Korea, plus large health insurance coverage. You must also be at least 18 years old and have 1 full year of professional work experience. The process typically happens through a Korean embassy or consulate. And yeah, the paperwork is thorough. South Korea offers amazing cities, incredible food, and a vibrant culture. But with a $64,000 income requirement, it's still out of reach for many remote workers. Which brings us to the next destination: the island that digital nomads have been dreaming about for years. Number 8, Indonesia's Bali digital nomad visa. For a long time, digital nomads have been flocking to Bali. Tropical beaches, affordable villas, co-working spaces everywhere. For years, people used tourist visas to stay longer. But eventually, Indonesia decided to create an official option. In 2024, they launched a digital nomad visa known as KIDAS E33G. This visa allows remote workers to live in Indonesia for 1 full year, with the possibility of renewing it for another year. That's a big improvement compared to visa runs. But again, there's a financial barrier. To qualify, you must earn at least $60,000 per year. You also need proof that your employer or business is based outside Indonesia. And you must show around $2,000 in your bank account over the previous 3 months. The application can be done through Indonesia's official e-visa system or via licensed visa agents. For established professionals, the Bali visa is a fantastic opportunity. But for beginners or freelancers just getting started, the $60,000 income requirement is still pretty high, which is why it sits at number 8 on this list. But the next visa introduces something unexpected, a destination most nomads rarely talk about. Number 7, Kazakhstan's Neo-Nomad visa. So Kazakhstan might not be the first country that comes to mind for remote work, right? But in late 2024, it quietly launched a program called the Neo-Nomad visa, and it's designed specifically for digital workers. This visa allows nomads to stay up to 1 year, with the possibility of extending their stay. Kazakhstan offers a unique mix of modern cities and vast natural landscapes. Places like Almaty combine mountain scenery with fast internet and growing startup communities. But, there are still a few requirements. Applicants must prove a monthly income of at least $3,000, which equals about $36,000 per year. You'll also need full health insurance for the duration of your stay. And there's one extra step that makes this visa slightly more complicated: a letter of invitation. Some nationalities are exempt, but many applicants still need one. That extra paperwork pushes Kazakhstan slightly higher on the difficulty scale. Still, for adventurous remote workers looking for something different, this visa is becoming an interesting option. And the next country? Well, it's already one of Southeast Asia's most popular expat hubs. Number 6. Malaysia's DE Rantau Nomad Pass. Malaysia took a serious approach to attracting remote workers. Instead of a simple visa, they built an entire ecosystem called DE Rantau. The visa itself is called the DE Rantau Nomad Pass. It allows remote workers to stay 1 year with the possibility of extending for another year, and the income requirements depend on your profession. If you work in tech or digital fields, you only need about $24,000 per year. But if you work outside those industries, the requirement jumps to around $60,000 annually. Applicants must prove they work remotely for a company outside Malaysia or operate a foreign-based business. The application happens mostly online through the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation portal. The visa fee is relatively affordable, roughly $225. Malaysia offers a strong digital infrastructure, modern cities like Kuala Lumpur, and a large expat community. However, some remote workers report that renewals can take time, occasionally forcing temporary travel outside the country. Even so, Malaysia remains one of the more accessible digital nomad visas in Asia. But the next entry on our list moves us to a completely different region, the Middle East. Number 5. Dubai's virtual work visa. Dubai is known for doing things big: massive skyscrapers, luxury lifestyle, and some of the most futuristic infrastructure in the world. But it's also surprisingly welcoming to remote workers. Dubai offers something called the virtual work visa. It allows digital professionals to live in the United Arab Emirates for 1 year with multiple entries, and the application is largely online. To qualify, you need to prove that you earn at least $3,500 per month. That's about $42,000 per year. You'll also need proof of employment or business ownership outside the UAE, plus valid health insurance. Compared to some visas on this list, the income requirement is still significant, but for mid-career professionals, it's quite achievable. The big advantage? Dubai offers zero personal income tax, world-class infrastructure, and one of the most international cities on Earth. The biggest downside, of course, is the cost of living. Still, thanks to its relatively simple online process, Dubai lands right in the middle of our ranking. And the next spot is a country that hasn't launched its visa yet, but everyone is watching closely. Number 4. The Philippines. The Philippines has long been popular with remote workers. English is widely spoken, the islands are just stunning, and the cost of living, well, it can be very affordable. But until recently, there wasn't an official visa designed for digital nomads. That changed in April 2025, when President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. signed an executive order creating a brand new digital nomad visa program. The visa is expected to allow remote workers to stay for up to 2 years, but, the full details are still being finalized. According to early reports, applicants will likely need to prove they work remotely for companies outside the Philippines. Rumors suggest the income requirement could land somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 per month. If those numbers become official, the Philippines could quickly become one of Asia's easiest destinations for remote workers. But until the full program launches, we're placing it at number 4, because right now, there are still a few visas that are even simpler. Starting with a tropical island nation that, honestly, surprised a lot of people. Number 3, Sri Lanka's digital nomad visa. So, Sri Lanka officially launched its digital nomad visa in 2026, and honestly, compared to a lot of other programs, the requirements are refreshingly simple. The visa lets remote workers stay for 1 year, with the option to renew every year. To qualify, applicants need to earn at least $2,000 per month from foreign income sources. That's about $24,000 per year. You'll also need a clean criminal record, proof of remote work or business ownership, and valid health insurance. The application process is pretty straightforward. It just involves submitting your documents to Sri Lanka's immigration department. The annual cost is around $500, and in return, digital nomads get access to a country known for its incredible beaches, lush mountains, and really rich cultural heritage. Even better, Sri Lanka remains one of the most affordable destinations in Asia. With its relatively low income requirement and super straightforward application process, Sri Lanka easily earns the number 3 spot on our list. But, the next visa might actually be even easier, and it comes from a country famous for its safety, healthcare, and technology. Number 2, Taiwan's digital nomad visa. Taiwan quietly introduced its digital nomad visa in 2025, and, well, a lot of remote workers immediately noticed just how accessible it was. The visa allows visitors to stay for 3 months at first, with the possibility of extending for another 3 months. So that's 6 months total. The most interesting part is the income requirement. It actually depends on your age. If you're between 20 and 29 years old, you only need to prove an annual income of $20,000. For applicants 30 or older, the requirement goes up to $40,000 per year. When you compare those numbers to a lot of digital nomad visas around the world, they're surprisingly low. Applicants also have to show proof of remote work, provide financial documents, and keep up with health insurance. Taiwan offers an exceptional quality of life, excellent healthcare, clean cities, incredible food culture, and honestly, one of the safest environments in Asia. All of that together makes Taiwan one of the most attractive digital nomad visas out there right now. But there's still one country that beats it, and it might totally redefine just how easy remote work visas can be. Number 1, Thailand's 5-year Destination Thailand Visa. At the very top of our list is Thailand's Destination Thailand Visa, or DTV as it's often called. This visa really changed the conversation around digital nomad programs because, well, the requirements are surprisingly simple. The DTV is valid for 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. It allows multiple entries and you can stay up to 180 days per visit. But here's the most interesting part. There's no fixed annual income requirement. Instead, applicants just need to show 500,000 Thai baht in savings, which is roughly $14,500. The funds have to be maintained for at least 3 months before you apply. You'll also need proof that you work remotely for a company outside Thailand, or evidence of freelance work. And that's basically it. Compared to the strict requirements we looked at earlier, Thailand's program is just incredibly accessible. Add in the country's low living costs, vibrant nomad communities, and world-famous hospitality, and you've got a winner. Cities like Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and Phuket already host thousands of remote workers. And with the DTV visa, Thailand might have just created the most attractive digital nomad program in Asia. That's why it takes the number 1 spot. Asia is changing fast. Countries across the region are competing to attract remote workers, entrepreneurs, and global talent. Some governments have built strict visa systems with high income requirements. Others are opening their doors much wider. From Japan's $90,000 threshold to Thailand's $14,000 savings requirement, the difference is honestly massive. And new programs are still popping up. The Philippines could soon launch its own visa. More countries might follow. Which means, the future of remote work might not be in Silicon Valley anymore. It might actually be somewhere in Asia. The real question is simple. Which visa fits your lifestyle? Because the right one could turn your remote job into the adventure of a lifetime.